going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner.
Man, I'm confident in our offense, that's for sure.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Joining me, as always, my partner in crime, Mr. Johnny PayPal. And also, make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube. We are on our quest for 2,000 subscribers out on YouTube. And when we reach that goal, we'll be donating an additional $100 to the National Alliance of Mental Illness. And they are doubling donations, so make sure to look them up, NAMI.org, I believe. And donate. We'll also be donating a portion of what we make with our show out there. So PayPal, happy schedule release day. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, Brad. Good. Yeah, and even if you don't like us, still subscribe because, you know, you're helping out. You're
Why
helping
not?
out. If you don't have a heart, then I don't know what you're doing and not subscribing. But yeah, I'm doing good, Brad. The weather's finally beautiful up here. I mean, it was in the 80s. It was beautiful, and what a perfect, weather day for the schedule release, because it was bright and it was awesome to see this the schedule release, and to the video that also came up.
Exactly. So we'll be breaking down the video. We just saw it. You just looked at it. It's pretty cool, and I'm excited to go into that. But let's do that. Actually, but before we do that, the first thing that I wanted to bring up was this is my first time kind of getting into schedule release day. I don't know if you did at all, but all the rumors about the leaks of this time and this week, and honestly, I don't really care when we play it. So I'm just glad that I just really like the video. So for those that haven't seen it, go to Chicago Bears social media, just all over the place. They posted this video. It's of them kind of cooking something up, and it's kind of like a classic Chicago kitchen. What did you think of that, PayPal?
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched it and you're listening right now, go watch it and then tell us your thoughts in the comments. What you thought about it. But I loved it. I mean, I don't think we've ever really done this. I never really. Maybe I'm just not into the schedule too, but like I don't really remember having like this big video come up where it was funny. It was, it told us the schedule, and it included all these past Bears and also, these up and coming Bears players, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it was a rare dub for the Bears social media team. I feel like they've gotten better because I know that we have family that loves Lyrical Lemonade. That was terrible. Like, that was so lame. I just can't stop hearing the What's Poppin' beat. Like, for those that remember that claymation, that was terrible. Like, every single time. Dun, 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 dun. Just nonstop. It plays in my head. It was terrible. And then last year, I forgot. Oh, yeah, it was them like doing trick shots. It wasn't that good. I agree with you. I thought that this was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was great. I just wish the only critique that I have is they should have had Ryan Poles cooking. Because everybody's saying just let Ryan Poles cook. That's my only gripe, is they should have had the man cooking.
Man, Brad, you're an ideas guy for sure, and man, I wish they hit you up before, because that would have him with the shades on and everything, like, or like something where it's like, we need help, and then Poles comes in, here's the boss man or something, and he walks in and
they go like, what are you cooking up? And he's just like, something good.
Yeah.
Like chef special or something. Like, that would have been so sick. So yeah, if you haven't seen it out there, look it up. It's good. And yeah, they have all sorts of people. Even Pat Scales got on it. Our boy Jack Sanborn got on it. So lots and lots of good stuff. I also like Seth Rollins. I was a WWE fan. Haven't watched it as much, but I liked all the different cameos that they had out there.
Yeah. I think anything with Anthony Adams and Spice
and
Adams,
Peanut,
and Peanut Tillman, like, they are hilarious together, and I just can't get enough of them. They got big. I don't know if they still have big guys in compact cars. That was with Spice
Yeah.
Adams. We'll see if they still have it. I don't know. But that was one of my favorite segments. Just because he's a hilarious guy.
Oh yeah, and bear down, Ron. And like they actually did something similar. I don't think that because there's big guys in the Benz. I don't think
Oh yeah.
These Benz sponsors it. It was always a weird concept because it's like you're kind of promoting that your car is small, like that's
Yeah.
made for bigger people. Like I never
Yeah.
got that at least, but he actually did one with Jervon Dexter. I think it was, or no, Zach Pickens. He was
Yep.
talking to Pickens, and that was a good interview. But PayPal today we're breaking down the schedule, and we're going to be talking about how many wins do we think the Bears will get in this way too early schedule prediction. So we're not really going to be writing down it as an official, but we're just kind of talking about how did the schedule kind of play out. So like we said, the schedule overall kind of had the theme of kind of cooking something up. And I even liked at the end where they kind of spilt the water out on it altogether. But the thing that stands out to me with this is 4 primetime games for the Chicago Bears. Pretty good. And we know that we have Justin Fields. We know that he's a ticket getter, but that's what kind of stuck out to me. But PayPal, what stuck out to you in this schedule?
Yeah, I think the one thing that really stuck out was that our schedule's kind of front loaded, I guess to say. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go through the games, but I
Oh yeah.
mean, it was kind of, it was like Packers, Bucks, Chiefs, you know, they have Broncos. Well, Buccaneers, Broncos, but it seems like kind of, we got to go against the Super Bowl winners. And then the Commanders are they're up and coming. They could be potentially good. Vikings and then Raiders, those are two teams we don't really know yet. But I think it's potentially front loaded. And then it's like the last games of the season we face Cardinals, Falcons, and Packers. So we should absolutely stomp those teams, at least from how, each of the teams' off seasons went. I think Falcons, they're kind of up in the air of are they going to be better this year? But I think it's kind of front loaded and it's kind of we got to make our impact right away for the season.
Yeah, so let's actually get into this schedule then and start breaking it down. So to kick things off, we're just going to kind of break it down into chunks. We'll go with the first 4 weeks, then next 5, then next 4. So let's start with weeks 1 through 4. So we kick off the season with Green Bay. I think that every single season should start out against Green Bay. Like it starts with Green Bay and it ends with Green Bay. It should always do that. But the first 4 games, Green Bay at 3:00. Then we are going to Tampa Bay, and then we're going to Kansas City right after that, and then we have a home game against the Broncos. So PayPal, week 1 at Chicago, going against the Packers. What is your feeling about this game?
Yeah, I think this is so poetic, Brad. First game of the season. I still kind of wish Aaron Rodgers was still on the Packers because this would be the year for us to kind of change. I'm hoping this is where the tides turn. The Packers have kind of been, the team, sadly, that they've been beating us and we have been losing against them. But I think it's poetic now. We're starting the season with the Packers with this new offense, with all these new players, confident. And I think we're going to start off really hot in the season, beating the Packers. And Packers fans are going to be miserable, and it's going to be the best thing in the world. So I think we play a great game against them. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat them. Maybe I don't want to jinx us, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a double score just based on what the Packers did in the offseason and Jordan Love as their quarterback now.
Well, see, I'll actually kind of flip it, and I hate saying this, but I see so much on Twitter, and I see a lot of people saying, like, the Packers are just awful now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. In my opinion, they underachieved. They had all sorts of drama going on. They were banged up. Now, I'm not here to say that they're going to be very good. I think that they are just kind of a middling team. I don't think that they're going to be drafting number one overall because you look at their team, the offensive line should be healthy with Bakhtiari. The defense, they didn't really lose anybody except for Adrian Amos, who didn't look good last year. They're still going to be a good team, but I agree with you. I think that with this, the Bears end up winning week one because, yes, I think Green Bay has the better coach. LaFleur is a very good coach, and I think that he's going to have Love be decent. I don't think Love's going to be amazing or anything like that. I just don't think that Love is going to absolutely suck. And that's why I think that what is Eberflus trying to push? He's trying to push the importance of this rivalry, the importance of the history, the importance of the Chicago Bears culture, and teaching these people so that they play like Cole Kmet when he goes against the Packers. Like, that's years and decades of losing pent up inside of Cole Kmet. Every time he plays the Packers, he trucks like 5 people. Like, and yeah, I think that overall that's got to be a dub. But PayPal, the next 3 games, Tampa, Chiefs, Broncos, anything that you want to kind of call out with those?
Yeah, I think that's where I think this first 4 games are honestly we got to prove kind of who we are at the beginning of the season. We know what we did last year. We proved we beat the 49ers, but then we kind of dropped off. So it's really important for us to beat the Packers, and hopefully it drops a little down with the Buccaneers and get the win there and become 2-0. And then the Chiefs, that's going to be the real big tester. And I don't know if you heard this, Brad, but there were rumors that the Bears were going to play the Chiefs over in Europe.
In Germany. Yep.
Yeah, in Germany. And people are saying that they didn't want to face the Bears in Germany.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty funny. We don't want to play one of the toughest, I think the Bears, even last year, sure, our record didn't show, like, we weren't the best team, but we were probably one of the toughest teams in the NFL. Like, if they had a mistake, we would kind of counteract, kind of pounce on them and get a turnover or really cause the other team to work for their win. So that's a huge game. And then Broncos, we'll see how that goes, Brad. But it'll be a fun home game to see.
I think overall, I'm hoping for 3 wins out of this. I think that is what you're gunning for. That's good. Like you said, it sets the pace. Buccaneers, the defense is still good. Mayfield is their quarterback. Like, it's not going to be that great, but you should win that, right? You should beat the Packers at home. You should beat Tampa Bay. Then the Chiefs, if you lose to them, so be it. I think the Broncos, to me, is going to be the most interesting because the Broncos, we can't just assume that Russell Wilson is going to be as awkward as he was last year.
Yeah.
Sean Payton came out of retirement for a reason. Now, yes, their defense took a step back. They lost a lot of different people, but I do think that this is still a good team. And yeah, I think this is really going to show what the Bears are moving forward because, like you said, it's going to be a good test. A team that they should beat, a rivalry game, a very good team, and a team that's trying to prove themselves. I think that you have all. I think that with this, they should get 3 wins, and that's what I'm hoping that they do. But it could be 2-2, right? But you definitely don't want to be 1-3 going out of here after you played the Packers, after you played the Buccaneers to only escape with 1 win. Not going to be good.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
But let's keep on moving on to weeks 5 through 9. So 5 through 9, we have our first game that's in prime time on Thursday night. Another Thursday night game against the Washington Commies at 7 o'clock at night. And then we are going, then we have a home game at Chicago against the Minnesota Vikings. And then the following week, home game against the Raiders. Then we are traveling out to the Chargers, and that is a Sunday night game, another primetime game. And then we are going to Nolans to go against the Saints. PayPal, these next 5 games, anything kind of stand out to you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think Washington will be another kind of fun testing game. I think last year it was a good matchup. Both of us are kind of hard-nosed teams, but both didn't really have the kind of that it factor almost last year. So we'll see how we play against them, but Vikings, Raiders. Raiders is an interesting matchup. Chargers, I think we can beat. They just haven't. I don't think their defense. I mean, with Khalil Mack and I mean, I just don't think they play as good as the players that they have, and they don't play that physical. So I think with this team, with our Bijan Robinson and all these running game, I think we could plow through that team. Same with the Saints and the Panthers. Honestly, Brett, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, just being an optimistic Bears fan, like I could see us winning all these matchups, but also some of these matchups just seem it could be close. Like the Raiders really come to me, and then the Vikings. Just being in that division with them, that's gonna be a close one. But it seems like we usually beat the Vikings, though. It seems like we usually beat them.
Well, like, because last year I said the opposite, right? Because it's like Matt Nagy and Akeem Hicks always beat the Vikings. That's who
True.
always beat the Vikings.
True.
This regime does not beat the Vikings. Akeem Hicks single-handedly beat the Vikings, like every single time that they would play. Also, PayPal, I think we might need to get a Bijan Robinson jar, because every time that we say Bijan Robinson instead of Roshan Johnson, I think
Oh
we
my
gotta put
gosh.
I think we got to put a quarter in the jar. Because it's like Texas running back, right? Like good running back, right? We gotta have a little jar, a little Bijan jar or something, like a Dijon mustard jar.
That's hilarious. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, because honestly, I thought of the Chargers, and they were kind of that team that was
Yeah,
gonna get Bijan Robinson, not Roshan Johnson. They were gonna
yeah,
get Bijan, projected to get him. So, I think that's kind of where I was thinking.
yeah. But
But
but I'll tell you, like, what I'm looking at it too is now when we're looking at these, I agree with you. I think that the Washington team, that's going to be interesting just because they are going to be tough. But I look at it, good line, not that great of cornerbacks, some rookies. But yeah, one that you didn't really touch too much on is the Saints. That's going to be the Saints are like the weirdest team. That's going to be the hardest team to project because the Saints overall, it just I don't know. It just seems like the Saints they have like Chris Olave, but then they have Michael Thomas. Is Michael
mhm.
Thomas even going to play? Then they have Derek Carr. The offensive line doesn't look good. They have Trevor Penning, their left tackle out of Northern Iowa, who is supposed to be amazing, but supposedly isn't that good, right? There's all
Yeah.
these weird things that are going on with that, but I think that next chunk of games, I I think that the Vikings are taking a step back. I think that the Raiders, the Bears match up very well against them. I think that's an easy win. I do have a weird vibe that the Bears will beat the Chargers. Um, but I think with this stretch, you're most likely losing 2 of these games. I think
Mhm.
that's kind of most likely what's going to happen, at least a 2 loss. I don't think that you're going to be kind of cleaning house, because I do think that even though that the Vikings defense got worse, their defense didn't look good last year either, and they were kind of frauds at 13 wins. So
Mhm.
I think overall, you'll be lucky to. It's good if they walked away with 3 wins out of this.
Yeah, I think these are the game. Honestly, that kind of that middle. I think it's important that we. These are the games that we gotta. Maybe these were the ones last year that we would probably maybe lose by one score. I think, yeah, like the Raiders, Chargers, and Saints, and even the Panthers. I could see us losing by those. Yeah, like one score last year, but I think this year we kind of have to flip that switch of like, all right, we're going to be the team in the fourth quarter that beats these guys. Like, because the Chargers, they're Justin Herbert. He's gonna be able to throw it on us and get touchdowns. So we're gonna have to compete with them offensively. Um, but yeah, I think that's something. Just I guess overall in the entire season, we gotta win those one score games instead of lose.
Exactly. And I think too, this schedule, when you look at the strength of schedule, it's smack dab in the middle. And I think a lot of these teams too, though, because remember the Bears had one of the easiest schedules last year until the season started. Because then the Jets all of
Yeah.
a sudden got really good. And I remember when we were doing the official preview and breaking down all the teams, it's like, listen, the Jets aren't as bad as a lot of people say. Like they actually have a pretty good team. And I look at this, just with the first 9 weeks, right? Packers are not as bad as a lot of people think, and I don't think Jordan Love's going to be awful. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers still have a good defense and wide receivers. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. Broncos should be better. The Commanders are always going to be tough. Vikings might have regressed, but they're still going to be good. And I think a lot of these teams, the Saints, the Chargers, they're all in that kind of middle area. And even the Raiders, I don't see, at least at this very beginning, a lot of those difficult ones. And I already know that people that are going to be doing their schedule predictions and talking and breaking down the schedule, everyone's probably circling the Bears going, oh, this is an easy win, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but let's keep on going to weeks 10 through 14. And this is finally when we do reach a bye week. So if we look at weeks 10 through 14, it starts off prime time at home against the Panthers on Thursday Night Football. Seems like a weird game, but honestly, I love that they did this. It just so that it's the battle of trading away the first round pick and some young quarterbacks. Then you have going against the Lions at Detroit. And then after that, we are going against the Minnesota Vikings at home. I believe that's Monday Night Football against the Vikings. And then we have a bye week on week 13. And then we go against the Lions again at a noon game at home. So home, away, bye week, home. PayPal, how are you feeling about this 5-week chunk?
Brad, is it weird that besides the Chiefs, I think are the second hardest team of the schedule is the Lions? Or am I like I think the Lions really kind of maybe Don Burr's just been getting in my head honestly, but I do think they have a good team. It's kind of like they're hard-nosed players. They're coached by Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell really gets the most out of his guys. We still don't know if he's kind of the smartest coach in the league, but he gets the most out of his guys.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a sec, because I do agree with a lot of people when they say, if you look at the NFC North, the two teams that got better, the Bears and the Lions.
Yep.
And the Lions just had that weird, I felt like they kind of started off bad, and then I think they got together, and then they were 9-8. Like, I thought that they were a little worse. No, they were 9-8. And like what you said, they got better. This entire secondary got overhauled. They add in Brian Branch, who can play safety, play in the slot. CJ Gardner-Johnson, very good safety. And then you also get Emmanuel Mosley and also Sutton from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that they just overhauled one of their biggest weaknesses on defense. The offense kind of stayed the same. Williams is going to be out with gambling stuff. But yeah, like you look at the team top down, the only time that you shake your head is, well, what is Goff going to do? This is one of the best offensive lines in all of football. They upgraded their running back position, and also Jared Goff can throw when he has time. Yeah, I agree. I think that honestly, when I look at this, I kind of expect the Bears to lose twice to the Lions. Hopefully Don Burr, the Lions fan, doesn't hear that, but I think that the Lions are going to be very good this year.
Yeah, they were 8-2 in their last 10 games last year, and like it was teams that, well, it was relatively easy. They had the Giants, they had Buffalo, which they lost, but it was only by one score. They lost against Carolina and then won against Green Bay. We got smoked by them 41-10. I forgot about that. We got smoked by them last year, but
Yep.
Yeah. Lions, I think that's the biggest 50-50 for me of kind of showing or maybe even give the Lions the advantage. Same with like the Chiefs of they do have a great football team and kind of improved in every area. Um, but again, yeah, the Panthers, I think that'll be a fun matchup. I think we're better than them though. Um, Bryce Young would just be fun. They're a very fun team. Honestly, they're probably like my second favorite team I'm kind of rooting for besides the Bears, just because they have Bryce Young, Miles Sanders.
Don't you say
Um,
that.
yeah,
No, don't
yeah.
you say that. You can't. How un-American of you. We have to root for them to be the worst team possible. We
True.
need that number one pick. We need Marvin Harrison Jr.
Brad, maybe I'm just happy because they gave us a great deal and we got a steal
Nope.
from them. But
Nope. No remorse. I hope they
no
lose every
remorse.
game. I hope they lose every game.
But Brad, they got Eddie Pinheiro. Come on,
Still don't care. Still don't care.
That
We have
makes
their
me
first round pick. That's
that
all
make
I care about.
that makes me actually like them even less having Eddie Pinheiro because
Really? Oh
he
man.
was fun to have for one season and then it was like all right, see ya. It's
I
like all
love
right,
Pinheiro.
yeah, can we just get Robbie Gold already? But
Yeah.
um easier said than done, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of the same with the Vikings. Seems like we should be able to beat them. Bye week will be nice to maybe, we lose against the Vikings first time, and then bye week we rejuvenate and uh, whoop their butts.
I think that this is going to be the hardest stretch because I think the Panthers are going to be going out there trying to whoop us. And like, I don't know. I think like the Panthers can easily play like they just want to, the Bears are coming in. They think they're better than us. Let's prove them wrong. Let's dominate them. I don't know. Like, what are the Bears going to say? We want a good pick. Like,
Yeah.
they come down. Warren comes down. He's like, "Come on, guys, make sure to win so that we can draft better." Yeah, I think that this is actually going to be the harder time. I think literally they'll win a game, maybe in this stretch. I just think that the Lions are going to be really good, and I think that the Vikings. I think that the Bears are going to take one of the games against the Vikings. But if Justin Fields can throw it really well, and I think that if he takes that step as a passer, I think that that's how you beat the Vikings because their secondary is just garbage right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how the Bears need a passing game in order to beat the Vikings because it used to always be you can just run on them. I think it's going to be more so the Bears have to pass on them because their secondary is just in shambles. So, but let's go to the final weeks then. So the last end of the week, the last 4 games that the Bears have. So it goes Browns, week 15 to be decided. So I don't know what that's all about. But week 15 is to be decided. Then it's Christmas Eve going against the worst team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals. And then it's the following week going against the Atlanta Falcons on New Year's Eve. And then we end it with the Green Bay Packers at Green Bay. So it's at Cleveland, home, and then at Green Bay. PayPal, this last 4, what are we feeling?
Honestly, yeah, I think I was really I would not be surprised if we could go 4-4 or well 4-0, win 4 of the 4 games. Honestly, the scariest team for me is the Falcons. I really like kind of their team. It's kind of will Desmond Ritter actually turn into a passer and be able to pass the ball? And if not, like Taylor Heineke, I still liked him out of Washington. I thought he was a good enough quarterback to win. And honestly, the Falcons, they upgraded their defense like tremendously. They got Jesse Bates now, Jeff Okuda. They got Eddie Goldman. I mean,
Oh, no, he
as
retired, didn't he? Or did he come
he,
back?
he came back for another
Oh.
year supposedly, and they got Calais Campbell. And then yeah, their offense, they have those weapons. It's just kind of that quarterback is the big key with Heineke or can Desmond Ritter actually do something? Because they got Bijan and Kyle Pitts and Drake London, so they got a pretty talented offense, and defensive weapons have been added.
And so the team that I'm nervous about at the very end is going to be the Browns. I think that the Browns have a very good team, and I think they didn't do too well last year. They only had 7 wins, but if you think about it, Watson was gone for majority of the season. And yes, when Deshaun Watson came back, he did not look good. This guy has not played in 2 years. He's not going to look good. Now he has a full offseason. I think that the Browns will definitely know at week 15 if they're real or not, but they still have a very good defense. They still have Myles Garrett. They still have a very good offensive line. They still have Amari Cooper. It's still a good team, and it's away as well, and Cleveland is going to be rocking. It's going to be close to playoff time. That's where I get a little bit nervous about it, and we all know what happened last time when Justin Fields went against the Browns. But with this, we should have better coaching, and he shouldn't be getting pelted like he was before. But the only other thing that I'm nervous about at this very end, because I see what you mean, like we can beat a lot of these teams at the end. This is why I love Green Bay week 1, Green Bay at the end, because it could come down to the very end. If the Bears are playing well, it could come down to this game. And the Packers, I don't see them as a playoff team. I just see them as a sticky team. And I think that's what's cool about this being at the end, because they're going to want to play each other. If someone, aka the Packers, are out of the playoff race, it still feels like they're going to want to try and win, and they're still going to want to try and put their best foot forward. So I love it. I wish that every season had Packers at the beginning and Packers at the end. It feels like football.
Yeah, it's a great way to start the season, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But yeah, I heard people were ranking the Browns as like the 9th rated team too, because even they got pretty good free agent, not free agent. They got pretty good players in the draft. They got our boy Saika Ika, and Luke Weipler. So, they're definitely a team to look out for. But Cardinals, this is where our team I think we are going to dominate kind of those those bad teams we did to the Texans, where it's like we're mature, like we have that good coaching, we have that we're not one of these teams that's just going to take a bye week, basically like, oh yeah, we got the Cardinals, whatever. I think this team kind of fights no matter who we're playing. So I expect us to have a fun little Christmas Eve. Have an early Christmas present, so to speak.
So just looking at this roster, like just looking at the schedule, like kind of how are you feeling? How are you feeling that the Bears do as a whole? And that's a question for everyone. Like kind of how are we feeling with this schedule and with what the Bears have in front of them?
Yeah, it seems, looking at it, like, man, I say we could go like 5 losses, maybe. I'm thinking definitely.
Wow. You're optimistic.
Oh,
let's go.
Yeah, I'm really optimistic with this Bears team, just because I think the offense is finally completed. Like we got everything that we wanted to fill out this offense. You could say, all right, the center, we didn't get a center, but hey, Musty is out of there. There's
Cody Whitehair, yeah.
There's no Musty stench in there. And honestly, I like Cody Whitehair. I just didn't like him as much as that guard spot, and we fixed that guard spot, the left guard spot. And man, we got talent up front. We got the wide receivers now. We're stacked at the wide receiver, and I think. And then we got it at the tight end spot, and then our defense. We've improved, and honestly, that's kind of we have to see where they are at, but I think we kind of filled all of our weaknesses this offseason, and we're going to see it in our record.
Yeah, that's optimistic. And I was going to say it's 10 wins, optimistically speaking. And like that's the ceiling that I kind of see with it. I think the biggest thing, because the thing that I find funny is on Bears Twitter last year, Ryan Poles signed a bunch of backups, and then everybody was like, we're going to be a playoff team. And then this year, people like we actually signed starters and starter quality people. And then I see on Twitter, like, hey, temper your expectations. Let's just wait for 7. It's like, no, we got to get to the playoffs. Because I think overall, this defense is going to be solid. I think that you solidified the defensive tackle position. Looking at a lot of these games, I know when we were breaking down games, it was, well, the D tackle position might not be, like, that was our weakest spot by far. And now it's not like it's going to be a strength, but I think that there's so much talent there, like potential talent, that it's going to be very intriguing. And I think the defense should be able to hold its own. It's going to come down to Justin Fields, and that is going to be it. And I've heard too, I think Peter King said this, that Justin Fields knows that it's all on his shoulders this year as well, because the line I fully expect to do well. I don't want to hear that it's an offensive line issue. We got the people now. We have Tevin Jenkins. We have Cody Whitehair at center, and Darnell and Wright should be a good right guard. It's going to come down to Justin Fields. And what I like about this schedule is it seems like there's a lot, like we said it before, a lot of okay teams that we're playing. It doesn't seem like there's really any gimmies on the schedule like there was last year. It seems like a lot of people that are going to play you tough. And this is going to show, what does Eberflus have as a head coach? How is he as a coach? Because he has to get the best out of these players. And I think that's where ultimately I think realistically I could see them going, like, I think that they are going to be fighting for a wild card spot. That's what I think. That would be a solid season. If they all of a sudden break out like the 2018 Bears, heck yeah. But it will all be on Justin Fields taking this immense leap. I think ultimately the Bears are going to be fighting for a wild card spot. I don't want to do a specific win prediction, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun season.
Yeah, I was a little optimistic, but I think the thing that keeps me optimistic is just like we were so close, to winning so many games last year, and like we had a lot of, like, I don't want to say no names, but it's like we had obvious holes in our offense and obvious holes in our defense. And we were like, okay, like our offensive line looks terrible. Once our wide receivers were in, once Mooney was injured, it was like, gosh, we don't even have anyone to throw to, And then our defense, it was like, okay, we don't have anyone to rush the ball. Now we have, sure, we don't have these huge names. We still we might have Yannick, but it's like we just didn't have anyone to really hold accountable except for Justin Fields was out there, Cole Kmet. And then on the defensive end, it was like, all right, Jack Sanborn, great surprise, but everyone else on the defense was terrible because Jalen Johnson was injured, Vildor was there, and then Kyler Gordon was kind of coming up, and now he's not peaking, but he's at that. He's getting a lot better, and we could see it at the end of the season. So I just remember being optimistic at the end of the season of like, wow, we suck because we lost a lot of games, but we're not that bad. We were almost there in so many games. Unlike, the Texans and Colts, they were, you watch those games, they're like, wow, that team sucks.
Yeah, I think the only reason why I'm like, okay, maybe we'll just be fighting for a playoff spot is because it's like, and not rather than just be like, we are a playoff team and we're winning double digits, is because we're Bears fans, right? And we have not seen amazing quarterback play. And I'm looking at the Bears roster right now, exactly like what you said. Good wide receivers, good tight end. I think that the running backs are going to be good because Roschon Johnson, to me, is going to be the third down back at least. And Khalil Herbert is going to do Khalil Herbert things. I feel good about this offense. I mean, I feel like we have everything there. We got to take off. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the season to start. And now that we have this, we have the shape of the season. Now we're going to start watching to see when is training camp coming up. When are the next mini camps? We'll keep you all in the loop with everything that we are going to be going down. And also, we'll keep you on the loop when they sign a defensive end, because Lord knows they need to sign a defensive end pretty soon rather than later. But like we said, make sure to like and subscribe. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair and